Hi there, it's Doris, your golf diva, and welcome to the Traveling Golf Diva podcast. Today we have a director of golf instruction, eduKaytion Golf. She is a sports journalist covering the PGA, LPGA. She was rated as top 50 best teachers. She's a speaker, an author, a sports broadcaster. I am privileged to have her as a guest in our podcast.
Hello, divas and gents, and welcome to the Traveling Golf Diva podcast, where golf meets travel, lifestyle, and unforgettable adventures. Here's your host, Doris Muscarella.
Kay McMahon, welcome. Your profile is so impressive. Can you give me a little bit about your background for the divas listening?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for having me on. This is a privilege, and congratulations on your podcast. A little bit of my background, as you have said, I'm an LPGA Hall of Famer, and I'm also a PGA member, probably one of the first women in the PGA of America, way back when they let women in. I've been teaching golf for, we'll just say, over 30 years now plus, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I have a unique method or approach of making golf simple so everybody gets to play.
And you're a PGA speaker, PGA member and a speaker.
Yes, I've done some educational things for the PGA of America, section-wise, and at the PGA show for a couple of years. And I also have been very instrumental in doing a lot of LPGA workshops and a speaker for them, plus speaker for some other organizations locally, Northeast New York. Women's Golf Association is one of them, amongst a few other ones. So I like giving my knowledge of golf and sharing that golf can be simple.
All right, well, you need to teach me that, okay? So we're going to talk about that. But more importantly, we're both members of an amazing organization for women we call it WIGGY. So, and I believe you're one of the founding members?
Well, not quite the founding member, but I have followed up. I'm currently the president of WIGGY, and I'll explain what that really means. We affectionately call it WIGGY, which is really kind of fun, but it's Women in the Golf Industry. And what that's about was, this is our 25th anniversary. It was started by 11 women. I wasn't one of the founding members, but 11 women started it in the golf industry because they wanted to make connection, because it still is a male-dominated profession. And what they wanted to do is connect women in all aspects or all careers of the golf industry. So it's not just about people who play, but it's architects, it's media people, it's golf professionals, it's artists, it's yourself, it's podcasters, it's influencers. And that's to connect women and use it as resources in the golf industry. So that's what WIGGY's all about. We can talk more about that too, because we have a great we have it's called our Wikipedia, which is our educational series, and we have a great one coming up actually next Wednesday, the 11th, where we have 3 men in a perspective. So we have PGA, very distinguished golf professionals, I shouldn't say golf, just professionals, golf leaders in the industry. They're going to be talking about what they think about women in the golf industry.
So, and I volunteered to help out with membership. So if anybody is listening and would like more information about this amazing organization, please feel free to contact me, Doris, at the Traveling Golf Diva, and I'll be happy to provide you with the information. As a director of instruction, you've likely taught golfers from beginners to advanced players. What are some of the most common misconceptions women golfers have about their swing or game, and how do you help them overcome those barriers with confidence?
That is a great question. The number one thing in the golf misconception era is that we have to keep our head down. You don't have to keep your head down. We actually want to I always say keep your head up, because it's all in the attitude. But people say you missed the ball or you top it because your head came up. It has nothing in the world to do with your head. It has everything to do with the club head. Most people top the ball because they're flipping their hands at it. And so the leading edge of the club comes up. So we talk a lot more about how the tool has to work rather than your head. I think the second thing, if I can continue on with this a little bit, the misconceptions about how to get set up over the golf ball are so overrated. People tend to teach posture right out of the gate. And the way I teach posture is I don't teach posture. We teach the order of how you get set up. And if we set up correctly by basically holding the club first, then stepping in and setting the club down as it's designed, and then setting your feet, everyone gets in a perfect posture position because the club tells you where to stand. Now, typically, so the misconceptions in that is, especially for women, they hear, keep your head down, keep your arms straight, stick your rear end out, bend your knees, and I'm going to go wrong, wrong, and wronger. And they get in these very weird posture positions. Now, I say if you get in these weird posture positions and you can still hit a golf ball, that takes talent. Now, if we can get you in a good posture position by just changing the order of events, you're going to hit the ball even better. So those are the two major misconceptions: is keep your head down, and all this business about posture. I'm going to change the world on this one.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think when I learned to play golf a couple of years ago, when they said keep your head down and focus, I correlated to life. Because when you set goals in life, you have to focus on them, correct? So if you keep your head looking at the ball at all times, you're not going to miss it. Same thing with life. Keep your eye on your goals and you'll never miss them. So food for thought, divas. I have another question for you, if I may.
Sure.
Golf instruction has evolved a lot in the recent years with technology like launch monitors and video analysis. How do you incorporate modern tools into lessons while keeping the experience fun and empowering, especially for women who might feel intimidated by the tech side?
Well, you're right about the tech side. I've been using probably tech now for 30 years. So I've been using video before it was even popular. So the intimidation part comes from all the data, all those little numbers at the bottom of the screen. All right. Nobody, very, very few people really know what to do with all those numbers and how to change that and what that actually means. So we don't do that. I use technology basically as a video system. Now, it has progressed a lot in the fact that the first video system I had was I had to bring it out like a large closet, and we've gotten down into it has progressed, scaled down a little bit into now it's your iPhone and your iPads. But the technology is really good. So once people see their swing, and then I show them the change that we made in less than 2 minutes, they go, I want to do that. Then they figure out how to do that, to make the change. Now, it's a change that we do together. I never tell anybody what they have to change. They choose what they want to change. And I think that that's a big difference. But they know that they don't look good, and they know that that's not what they want. So that really helps. The other thing about technology today, especially with the app that I use, um, is if they're away from me, they can take a video of themselves and send it to me instantaneously, and I can send it back to them with a voiceover of what they should or shouldn't be doing. So we can make it very live. Then I can also get into the app and the AI project that I'm working on that's going to probably revolutionize how people actually learn, but that's a whole nother thing. But technology really, the technology I use is how they see it, and then they can see the changes. So I think that's the biggest thing. We take the numbers out. I know the numbers behind the scenes, but a lot of people don't know what to do with that.
Listen, if you need a volunteer for all of that, I am available for you.
All right, you're on my list. You're first on the list. How's that? I do need some volunteers. How's that?
I'm in. Whatever you need, I am here for you. I definitely love the game, but I need help with the technique. I've read so many books that I am so confused. So I need your help for sure. So I have a question for you. Travel is at the heart of the Traveling Golf Diva. Have you ever conducted golf instructions or clinics at destination resorts or iconic courses around the world? And if so, what are some memorable travel technique experience, and how does playing unfamiliar golf courses impact a golfer's learning? That's like 3 questions in there.
I have done golf schools and in different places. Probably the most recent was in Orlando, at a place called Mission Inn. And I think what's happened, I try to do it for, a lot more women will tend to do that, but it's not always like that. Couples have done this. So I've done single 2, 3, 4, 5 day workshops or clinics with people, and they say, boy, 8 hours with Kay every day seems like it's a lot. But it actually works out very, very well for just even single or couples or two people to do this together. So in Orlando, I've done a few of those. And again, Florida, the temperatures, I'm in upstate New York, so the temperatures are always better. I'm also working with women's golf and travel, who we are now doing another one at Rio Pinar this coming, actually February. Working with travel agencies does really help because it takes a lot of the burden off of me of trying to figure out which hotels to go to, but I have to figure out the golf courses. So I really like working with the travel agency, and then they can take care of all the transportation and the clubs, et cetera, et cetera. So, and women like that. So it's also about going to destinations, and you can probably talk more about this, that you want to experience of where you are. So it's not just about the golf, it's about the golf course and other things of where you might be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love the idea of traveling and bringing you putting a group of together. I mean, I belong to like 4 leagues of women, and we mostly have a male pro that teaches us technique and everything, but there's nothing like another woman teaching us the sport that, I don't know, I can relate a little bit better. Not that they're bad or anything. It's just, it's a better connection, especially for me. I like to connect with other divas and other women and talk about our problems and what we have, and have a female golf pro there answering questions.
Well, if I can comment a little bit on that, going along that line, we do say it's a male dominated profession, but there's an advantage of being a woman in the profession, like you just said, because a lot of women want to just talk to another woman, and we tend to teach it a little differently, and nothing against men, but we also then can talk about different body things, and we are built different than men, so the swing is slightly different. So a lot of women definitely do like taking from women. So there's advantages of being a woman in the golf industry.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's say I want to train with you. I love everything that you had to say. I want to improve my game. How do I get started?
Well, you can get started in person, but we're not always in person. So going back to your technology question, I do online lessons also, and we do personal online lessons, which I do it through Zoom. And you could be on the range and you put your earbuds in, and I can be sitting in my nice warm office with my heater under my feet, and we can be talking that way. Now the neat thing that I also then use the app, so I send you pictures of the videos, et cetera, that you can study later, but the whole lesson is also recorded. Now what I tell people, if they don't feel comfortable with that the first time, let's try it out and see if it works. If it doesn't work for people, then we will try to get together in person or sign up for, like a golf school or something like that. Uh, but I have people that actually like doing it online. I mean, I've got people in Arizona, Minnesota, and people can actually do it in simulators or wherever they are. And then I give you a lot of exercises to do at home, which then you have access to me all the time, even after the fact, which if you take a few videos and I can send them back to you. And so that if you're, to make sure that you're practicing correctly, so you're not going down the wrong path for forever, if that makes any sense. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I could go to the range and practice for an hour, but if I have bad practice, what good is it? I'm just wasting time and energy,
You're
right?
absolutely,
Would you
yeah, you're
say?
absolutely right. So we're working on something that's going to be able to give you feedback when you're actually at the range, or you could actually be in your living room practicing at home. So you can actually be doing a lot of different things. People don't understand that sometimes skill development is you don't always have to be at the range. You don't always have to be hitting the golf ball, because it's about how the club and you are moving. So if we can move the club a little bit better, it's going to make it better to hit the ball. So it takes sometimes the focus off the ball. Then we get to the ball eventually. So we can definitely help everybody.
Well, in my living room, I have a putting green. I try to practice on a daily basis because I think the putting and the short game closes the deal. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you're absolutely right. If you watch the pros on TV, LPGA, PGA, I mean, they're great putters, they're great short games. So if anybody had anything to practice, I'd say practice chipping first, then get into your putting because most people are missing a lot of greens. And if you can really make good contact with the ball, we can build the swing from there on up. Um, it's interesting, I think, if we're going back to your travel question too, is that I think when people get away from their home courses too, it really helps to get to a different situation because then they're going to focus just on their golf swing and what they're doing for that 2 or 3 days. And especially if they're doing it with 2 or 3 other women. So I tell people they can make their own group. Bring your own foursome and we'll do something with you because then they're comfortable with the people they already know too.
Oh, I like that. Bring your own foursome. Divas, bring your own foursome and call Kay. She can help you for sure. For women planning a golf trip like Diva Getaways, which we're going to be putting up on the website, what key instruction tips would you give them to help them prepare, whether it's building consistency on the road, packing smart, how to adapt to new courses, how to play in the new courses that you're not familiar with?
Okay, you got a lot of questions going on in there. There's a lot of good travel tips. I think it's more difficult today to travel with clubs. So I would ship them, ship them in advance. Okay. But it's important to pack your clubs. So if you're going to ship them, put your shoes up there by where the head covers are. All right. And then if you know that you need an extra sweatshirt or a sweater or something like that, pack your rain gear in the bag, maybe even with your extra pair of tennis shoes in the bag. So you can pack, if you're going to ship them, pack some extra things in there. Coming home, you pack your dirty laundry in your golf bag. The second thing is about the packing. Is that when you travel to different golf courses, I think it's really good to understand the different grasses, different lies that you're going to have different rough. It's going to be different sand. The sand is always different, so everything kind of changes. But I think when you're traveling, you can look at the golf courses before you go play. And if you're really kind of a competitive person and you want to know how they are, look at a Google map and see where the holes are and see where you might want to play it, and you can kind of map it out. It'll teach you some different strategies of how to play. People just think it's always about hitting the golf ball, but you can really save a lot of strokes if you plan your strategy. So I think if you're playing different golf courses, that's one of the biggest keys in my golf school that we talk about is it's not always about the swing. It's sometimes about how we get down the road safely and stay out of the trees.
Wow, that's great advice. Thank you so much for telling me that. That is really good advice. Love to join the golf school with you. Divas dreaming of taking their game to the next level while exploring the world. We were just talking about traveling. What's your best piece of advice to balance consistent improvement with the joy of travel, fashion, and adventure in golf, which is what we talk about here?
All right. So my number one rule at my golf schools or whenever I teach, because it's education golf, is I say my number one rule is you got to look good. So let's go right to your right to your fashion, right up your alley, right? I think it's right up every woman's alley. It's about looking good, but it's about even if you're in business, you want to look your best all of the time. And I think women love to dress up. And I think the fashion today is so much better, all the way from golf shoes. It's always, what's the thing about every outfit? Shoes make the outfit. So besides being comfortable, you want to have good shoes, but they also want to look good. So I'm going to go into the whole fashion thing. You want to look good, always matchy, something like that. The other thing is that in traveling, pack light, make your outfits always kind of match so that you can exchange things and make them lightweight if you can, if that makes any sense. The other thing is that I think when you're traveling too, rain suit, you want to be prepared with a rain suit. The best thing are for rain pants because even if it's cold, that'll keep you warm. Vests are the next best thing. to keep you so that you can actually have better movement when you play. The other thing that you ask about of how to play different places, I think golf instruction, if you're taking from a lot of different places, all of a sudden people get, as you alluded to, 1,001 things in your head, and you're supposed to do that in 1.2 seconds. I think it's sometimes overtaught. So I think the number one question is, if you take from other instructors, if someone tells you to do something, you have to understand the why. Why am I doing this? How is it going to affect ball flight? If you come from a point of understanding what they're saying or what's going to happen to the golf ball and how that's going to change your game. Lots of times people just tell you to do something, but that's no why behind it. Understanding the why, they all could be correct, but you as a person needs to understand that. So when you go away, you know what you're doing. The idea is for you to own your own golf swing.
Oh, I love that. So when I learned how to play golf, I learned because my significant other is a golfer. He's a really good golfer. So he taught me how to play golf with his techniques. And kudos to him, because he never got professional training, and he is a scratch golfer. He's great. He taught me what he knew from his perspective. So when I tried to take a couple of classes, they're like, no. That's not the way to do it. So that fundamental, basic why, I don't have, Kay. I really, really need your help on that. I need to understand now. My thinking is very analytical. I have to have a 1, 2, 3. I memorize things by acronyms and things like that. So the background and the education and where the ball's going to go and where to hit it and all that basic foundation, I do not have. So with that said, I would love to join one of your training classes. How can I contact you? What's your website? And when can I get started?
Well, I think the website is this. It's obviously www.eduKaytion golf, but it has to be spelled correctly. And I always say with the K-A-Y in the middle of it. So it's EDUKAYTION golf.com. So it's kind of easy to remember. I will say this, going back to your acronyms, is that I talk about it as golf 8.5, which means there's only 4 things you do before the swing, and there's only 4.5 things you do in the swing. And all the stuff that people tell you are probably correct, but I'm going to go back to, you will understand what you'll have to do. So the acronym we use for the pre-swing setup, or how to get set up, is called GCAP. Okay. So I'm going to say, what is GCAP? And I go, well, it's like the cap on your head, but it's spelled GCAP. G stands for grip, C stands for club head, A stands for alignment, and P stands for posture. If you do the first 3 things that we talk about, you'll never have to think about posture ever again. You'll never have to think about how far to stand from the ball. You'll never have to think about ball position, and you'll never have to think about aim or alignment. So we eliminate a lot of different things. Now, all of that can be done in my 5-week courses online. So people first get an understanding, so you don't have to be in person. And many people that really started during COVID. We started to do that, and people wanted to do more of those. And we talk about how to do that, and then they practice. And then the next week we come back. So it's a 5-week hour course is what we do. So, and anybody, men, women, I've got rank beginners to experienced people come in and do the same thing. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We have gotten so much amazing advice today. I am calling you. I am emailing you. I want to do that 5 course online, because I'm here in Florida. So give me 3 takeaways you want the listeners, these divas and gents, to remember you by. I love the acronyms, by the way.
The best thing I always say is keep your head up. It's all in the attitude. And I promise your scores will come down. The second thing I'll say is that people always say, when I take lessons, I get worse. And I will guarantee that you'll never get worse. You might stay the same, but you'll never get worse. I promise. Guaranteed. 100%. Those are basically, the third thing I'll say is that the golf swing is simple. It is not complicated. Now, the game can be challenging, but the golf swing is simple, and it's much simpler than it's taught. So those would be the three things that I would say.
Kay, thank you so much for your time. Please, Divas, connect with her, change your golf game. I want to thank everybody for listening. Please subscribe and listen. Visit our website, The Traveling Golf Diva, for the upcoming speakers. Also connect with us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to the Traveling Golf Diva podcast on Spotify, Apple, or any of your following your favorite platforms. Thank you today, and keep staying with us and keep listening to the amazing guests that we have on the Traveling Golf Diva.
Thanks for listening to the Traveling Golf Diva podcast. Be sure to subscribe, share, and follow. Find the Diva on Facebook at The Traveling Golf Diva and on Instagram at The Golf Diva. And be sure to visit the TravelingGolfDivaPodcast.com for more inspiration. See you next time.